I'm recording this because when we do this, we're going to be sharing this out with the group, and I'm going to look for folks to share it with all of your friends and family and others. So with me here is Frank from Library Foundation.
Yeah, well, this year it's more Brockton Cultural Affairs and Tourism, trying to see how we might fit
Great,
the time capsule in to try to promote that for the
Great.
downtown
great,
area.
great. Thank you,
and,
Frank.
Get that involved in it
Awesome.
somehow.
Nope, their history is a big part of this.
Yeah.
John Marion, from well, former, he's never away from the DBA.
This is not a phone.
And then just around the horn here, Elizabeth, and Maureen, and Sherry, and Danielle, and Amanda. Thank you all. I'm gonna turn this over to Amanda in a minute or two, but we had met maybe about a month ago or so, and you know, it was just to get things going. So there is going to be a parade. It is going to be November 27th. If you're not following on social media, I want to just tell you that Amanda has done an extraordinary job in getting word out. The volunteers are the crux of how successful this parade will be. But it really is, we're trying to really start delving into committees and making sure that everybody's assigned. Being inclusive is the word. So, you know, I don't know, Amanda, do you want me to turn this over to you, and do you want to take it from here?
No, I'm good, Mary. I'll just jump in real quick and see.
So I would be remiss if I don't put on my hat.
Gotta
So
put
I'm
your
gonna
hat
put my
on.
hat on. And so we're gonna make sure, at least for the first 5 minutes of these meetings, that we go forward with it. But you know, I think what's important is that the communication and the conversations are occurring.
Yeah, where's your hat?
And Ann Beauregard just joined us here. So, but again, this is November 27th. There's conversations that are
26,
pre-parade and preparing for the parade, and then it's the post-parade, and that piece, I mean, not post, it's the day of the parade. You know, we've gone through last year, as we all know, it was a shortened one, but we are back full, meaning that schools are being invited, community groups are invited, inclusive. There are things such as, you know, the theme, Amanda and John and I just talked about that. We believe that the theme this year is going to be back together again for all the holidays, and have that be put out for those that are, particularly the schools, to be putting together floats. David Lynch just confirmed that he is ready. Santa has been confirmed. In addition to that, the Brockton Public Schools, we have Superintendent Thomas himself is going to be the point of contact to make sure that we on. So that, I just want to make sure that there's anybody else that's in here. Sorry. Back together. Thank you. Back together again for all the holidays. Thanks, Amanda, for clarifying. And so there's already things that are in the mix of things that have already started, just to be ahead of the schedule. The Traffic Commission's aware. The police department is aware. The fire department is aware. I've got to get over to the Parks Department so we could use City Hall. The DJ's been confirmed, and that's Joe Lupica again is going to be doing this. Brockton Community Access has been contacted, so they're ready. And in fact, working with Nubi Rato, and he just had an event with young people who are interested in career in the media, and to utilize those young people to actually be the commentators and involved and supporting and doing interviews, which I think is the best thing, right? The way to continue this is to get our young folks to be engaged, involved. So there's a lot of things that have been done behind the scenes, but we really wanted to kind of get through, go through some of the things that we need help with. And one of them is really getting the word out, getting volunteers, additional volunteers. The other thing will be, we'll be working with Black-owned Brockton, and they have an interest in doing their, like a vendor, just how we did last year. but they are really gonna take that on, and we'll close off the road like we did last year, and not just work with Black-owned Brockton vendors, but work with any vendors and crafts. And I'm trying to think what else there is. I know I'm missing something. Sponsorships, will be looking for that again. But there are some folks, I have Lisa O'Donnell, she's not able to be here today, but she's gonna be working with our local restaurants to make sure that they're engaged before we bring in food trucks and others from outside of the downtown area. We want to bring in as many Brockton businesses. We buy local, but we also want to make sure that we are also, as John was saying earlier, this is a greater Brockton. So we really be inclusive, right? We want to bring people to know that Brockton is a safe place to go and to be engaged. So there's a lot of things going on, and I know that we had some committees from the last meeting that we established. I really want to make sure that the library, and I know that from the planetarium.
Yeah, I can't really speak for the library.
That's okay.
They haven't been real, the foundation hasn't been overly supportive of things.
Okay.
The library itself, I don't know. I know the person I had started to work with, her position got changed and moved up.
Okay.
So she won't be doing and that was mine, she won't be doing.
Yeah, Mama News, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
she can't do that.
Pat Monteith, I
It's a
reached out to, and
planetarium.
I had first thought that we could do something really cool by putting the planetarium, like maybe on a flatbed truck, but she said it really isn't mobile, but she'd be willing to do something with us. So
Right.
lots of ideas, and maybe what I'd like to do at this point is, I'm gonna have everybody do a little bit of an unmute. But I'm gonna start with Danielle, since Danielle, you were part of the effort and part of the team that had this be pulled off last year. So unmute yourself and talk about some of the things that you thought worked really well, and talk about something that you think that could be brought differently to this year's parade.
I really liked how we brought Brockton High and like the band and all that, and in front of City Hall. I like that aspect. Speaking off of what like my family has said, they kind of wish the parade was a little bit longer, and I'm not sure if City Hall will be open this time because it was very cold outside to have the vendors outside, which what made people like not really stay as long.
Yeah, it was cold and windy. I think the cold would have been okay because it was a sunny day, but the wind, so we don't control Mother Nature, unfortunately. I do have a note down to figure out about City Hall, whether that would be open. In the years past, there used to be craft fairs, and it would be run by City Hall folks themselves. So, but we can check into that, Danielle. Thank you. Anne.
Okay, well, I'm here for Garden Club because I am hoping that City Hall is open for more than one reason, because in the morning it was always kids' activities, and then it was the parade. So it was sort of quote a day,
Yeah,
and generally
yeah.
speaking around 9-ish to 12-ish.
Yes, correct.
And then I'm wicked psyched about getting these other restaurants to participate. And maybe if they know in advance, they can have stuff, quote, prepared, end quote, so that it's quick and easy, grab and go to get your spot for that you're watching the parade. So I'm planning on having Garden Club have an activity for kids, again, free. Okay.
Great.
And I'm also here, trying to get some info for DW Park Association because Claire Lineberry can't be here. And I would think that they, would want, if possible, to have a table, whether it's to have activity or just sell some of the DW Field, what am I going to say, memorabilia. Okay. And again, I'm sorry, but I believe volunteer-based nonprofits, and that includes Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, what have you, should have, quote, first dibs, end quote, if they're going, just to participate in the process. 1, 2, I also believe one of the things people used to register at, they're supposed to know what that means, Joe Angelo's, when they were part of the parade. I don't think that's a bad thing because it's helping a small business, But also, if it was possible to be able to register and then be able to sell food at the same, and what have you with the program, because that was one of the things. The programs are terrific. I am willing to bring them out the week before, but the day before and that day is just not, they just gotta be out.
It's deadline.
Yeah.
Driven.
It's deadline driven, so
Yeah.
yeah, we could talk about that. I don't
Yeah,
even know if
okay.
we're gonna do that program, but
Right.
But but something on that idea should exist. 1 and 2, 3. I love the idea of Black-owned Brockton and any, other, businesses or small crafts. For example, Farmers Market has young women, I think they went back to school, but they were selling, products. And again, there were probably a whole lot of other people, doing a variety of different things and letting these people know. One of the best places is definitely through Brockton Community Access. I had mentioned, I have a program, we just finished taping to promote Tower Fest. Somebody wants to be on it, fine. Not that 1,000 million people watch it, but the thing is that it gets it connected. Start doing the PSAs and do them in different languages, okay? Because they're free. I mean, as far as when I do press releases for various events in the city, it goes out to 2 newspapers, the radio, the TV. It goes to, if it's large event, it goes to Plymouth Tourism Convention Bureau. It goes out to Buzz Around. She's terrific. She is phenomenal. Jackie.
Yep.
And then it goes out to the chamber, that goes out to thousands also. Again, nothing costs a dime. And I send it to the city. I don't know where it goes from there. And then I send it to, I'm forgetting, the Happening in Brockton website too.
So you should list all those, unless you just wrote them. You should list them all to then whoever the media
Yep.
person is. And we
Yeah.
just put it
Mary's
in.
pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good, yeah. And then when we send them, when it's not top secret, I'll be happy to move it out again. But, you have the template, zoom, it goes out. WATD would kill for you guys to do a PSA.
Yep.
You can go to Marshfield,
Mhm.
and then once you meet with the guy, John Shea, he's the primary to do these PSAs.
Kevin's still down there?
Yeah, but Kevin does
Yeah, he
not
does
do that
other
entity.
things.
I mean, you could maybe be on his show, but that's a whole separate thing. But John does the PSA, records it, and it plays all the time.
Right.
And I know because people hear my voice and then they tell me,
well,
yeah,
Mary had mentioned
Yeah.
about doing little subcommittees,
So-
maybe we could do something like.
Identify the task.
Yeah,
we could
yeah.
Do something
Yep.
like that.
So let me put a hard stop, because there's others that I want.
oh, no, that's fine, yeah, okay.
I just have a question, but how did they register last year? How'd they register for the parade last year?
This is the thing.
There
was
was
no
none.
registration.
There was no registration because
Okay.
the mayor's office, the mayor's office wanted it to be public safety.
Okay,
folks.
so on registration, there's 2 things here. Ann brought up the point of going in, I think the last couple of years, what we did was we did an online registration because the problem logistically for this parade is what happens is that the police block it off. We'll talk about that when we get into the
Yeah.
weeds. But when they block it off, that means nobody can come in.
Yeah,
And it's hard even for these floats to come in and go to their prospective lots. So they have to come down to Joe Angelo's, and yes, we did it so that we would patronize them, and yes, we did it so that. But we started to do the online stuff, which is great, because then they say, yeah, okay, and guess what? You're on lot 5, you're on lot 2, you're on lot, right?
Yeah.
If we contact a lot of the ones, this first couple years, this year, the next, it's gonna be a little difficult because there'll be new people, they won't know the landscape. It's real confusing, especially that day. And if we get 60 or more, or 40 or more, it will be confusing if there's not a lot of, if there's a lot of new, right? So we have to really talk about this, how we're gonna register. We should do it on the USA Christmastown. You could just register right there, just like you could be a volunteer, wherever we're doing that outreach.
Yeah.
You doing it, did you do it outreach? I saw an email.
We're doing it through Constant Contact. And,
But
and
then you're pushing it out. Is there any place that somebody, can they go to like the DBA
so
site,
go to the website.
DBA website?
And they can go
and
to
they
the
can
Facebook
register?
social, yep.
Okay, and they can register on Facebook?
Yep.
So then we'll talk about doing that registration for the parade there.
Yep.
Yeah, online registration, key.
So, let me go to Elizabeth. And whether, let us know whether you've been to the holiday parade in the past. And if you haven't, maybe what do you look for out of this holiday parade?
So I haven't been lucky enough to attend the parade, but talking to my mom, she said it was basically legendary. So I'm very excited to hear that it's going on again. Very excited to be helping to plan it a little bit. Um, what I look for in parade is definitely just like the festive feel and like getting out the information in several languages, like was mentioned, because I'm from School on Wheels, and I know there's a lot of Asian Creole speakers at the shelters right now who might not know English. What else I look for? Definitely music. So I heard you got a DJ, so that's fantastic. Um, and whatever I can do to help, just let me know. I'm very excited to work with you all.
Elizabeth, this is great to hear.
She's a BSU graduate, so that's good.
What
too.
year are you
Yes.
BSU?
This
I
year.
graduated last spring from social work program.
Ah, okay. Well, I think some of the things, having schools on wheels to be part of the parade could be also, it's, again, there's an opportunity for people to know about who you are and what you're doing. I'm gonna move to Sherry and ask Sherry if she could share in, thoughts about what you liked about the parade in the past, and then also what you're looking for. And I'm gonna need to unmute you, and if you can, I think it's, what is it, *6? There we go. Perfect.
I'm president of Boxers Little League in Brockton. We actually did an activity there last year. We had a pitching contest, but I wanted to get the kids into the parade. We didn't have very many come to do the thing. We only had about 6 or 7, but we have about 150 from the league for spring and fall season this year. So I want to get them to come in, decorate a float, and be part of the parade. To try to get kids to come out and play baseball. Baseball is kind of fading in Brockton.
That's great.
Everybody's
But,
doing
I mean,
soccer.
I think you're right, but I think having you, as you said, to get more of that being out there. So I'm glad, that's really helpful. And so that's for the Little League. What about you personally? What are you looking for in a parade, Sherry?
Well, it's a few things that people had said last year is that there's no food. Maybe have some food trucks come, or hot chocolate and stuff, because it was really cold. Another thing is bathrooms were locked, so they had to walk far for a bathroom.
Yeah, we had porta potties, but I think that a lot of people didn't know about that, but that's good. What other idea?
I don't have any other ideas right now.
That's okay. No, I appreciate
right.
that. Thank you.
Good. One idea is better than none.
Thank you, Sherry. That's really helpful, and thank you for being involved. You'll be kept busy for sure. Maureen, from your perspective, if you can unmute yourself, and I know Maureen, as I call them, is between Maureen, Peggy, and Lisa O'Donnell. They're like the three musketeers in some ways, because they're always there and willing to do anything for the good of the city. So, well, talk about some of the things that you enjoyed about the parade. And Maureen was one of the people who took all those heavy tables and set them up for vendors and then lifted them back up again. And so maybe you can kind of tell us a little bit about your thoughts, the good, the bad, sort of the things that you'd like to see.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm driving, so I'm not going to look at you, but I can hear you fine. So hopefully you can hear me good. So I will tell you that I have attended this wonderful parade for many, many, many years. And last year was the very first time that I got myself really involved, because I never wanted to leave the sidewalk. I always wanted to be watching the parade. My children are 21 and 19 years old, and they were always in the parade through the schools. And so same thing, I didn't want to be involved because I wanted to watch the parade. So I have to tell you that no matter what happens, the floats and Santa are my favorite. Okay, we got to have Santa. Santa just is the world. So last year was phenomenal. We pulled it together in under 2 months, and I will tell you that as small as it was, and for the minor complications that we had, the fact that we were able to pull it off after COVID was pretty impressive. And the fact that we let people know that we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going with this. So I think we're on a good foot there. So yes, the wind was definitely detrimental to our health. It was cold. Things got blown over but I love the fact that we closed that little side road down and we got the vendors out there. But again, because the participation wasn't there for all of the people to come see their kids, I think that, the vendors didn't get as much foot traffic as we would hope. And that hopefully this year it will happen. We did have food last year, but it was over in the parking lot. And I think the vendors weren't really sure what to expect. So again, I think we, kind of shook out the cobwebs there. And I think even if we get several of them to come back this year, they'll at least be aware of what to expect.
Yeah.
The fact that Brockton Beer was open in the parking lot, again, a great pull in for, people to, at least the adults socialized a little bit after the parade. So I think we've got some great ideas going on. But again, it takes the soldiers, and I love being a soldier. So I don't want to be
You're
up
an
there.
important one.
I don't want to be up there with the big guys. I want to be down there with the little guys running and getting my feet wet. But I'm also going to be on the sidelines when that parade starts.
Right,
So,
right.
because that's where I need to be.
Yeah,
I
no,
want to
So-
say, this because this is, what you said was great. I want to chime in for a second.
Go ahead, John.
Everything positive, okay? And that's what we have to always remember, the positivity of what this event can, will, and it always has been, right? So you talk
Right.
about, pulling it together and not having many people there. Look, things happen, right? I'll bring you back to 1991 when it was crime ridden, okay? Probably had like 12 people that first year. The thing is, we went forward, like you said, right? And why do we go forward? We go forward for our kids and our community, right? So everything you said was positive. So we build from whatever that was.
Yeah.
It was behind us, okay? And don't forget, now everybody wants to come out. It'll be easier as long as the structure and the boots are on the ground. The most important thing at this point, other than things we talked about before, is the volunteer base. The more volunteers and the more organized this becomes, the better the result. The volunteers are huge. So you're really important, Maureen. I want to talk to you based, not tonight, you're important based upon the outreach. That's a category, that outreach to schools,
Yeah.
that's a huge category.
God
So,
is in
now that you've come from the sideline right into the frying pan, guess what? We'll put you back on the sideline though when it's time, but you're gonna be able to watch your results.
Maureen's not gonna want to walk with me in the park anymore. Speaking of walking, my next walking partner here is Peggy. Peggy, if you want to just chime in yourself, and I know you want to be on the sidelines as well, watching that parade go by.
I just want to be where you're going to be, Mary, and everybody. I want to see everybody enjoy it like you guys did last year, and make all the effort and work that you guys all did as easy, and then just bring it all in.
Peggy.
And
Peg, talk about some of the things, again, we already talked about the weather, we already talked about some of the other things. If there was something that we may have missed that probably could be tweaked to improve, but perhaps some of the things that you feel that should stay.
sorry for coming in late, but yeah, it's I think Mo covered a lot of it. I missed some of the early on, but having, I think, something that you had a lot of vendors, you had a lot of participation that way, and they were very friendly. We visited them all and
Yeah.
made sure they were all happy. But something that I think we had mentioned before, that having the music in 2 locations,
Right.
and I don't know if you talked about that or touched
We
upon that.
haven't, no.
I think we had mentioned maybe just locating it in one spot, right at City Hall would be
Yeah.
key, because that would be someplace where people can congregate before and after going to see the tables. I think people were a little too dispersed. Other than that, I think maybe even just putting the vendors a little bit closer to that area, or bringing it just so that you can kind of keep everybody in one area,
Yeah.
would be my only comment. I think everything was, the variety of vendors was great. The people were positive. It was just a matter of getting more people there. I don't know if that was addressed. I know there's more people on board now, just to bring it out to everybody. And I think that's great. The advertisement, as long as it, gets out there early to the schools, as Maureen, I'm sure probably mentioned, getting the parades in there. I was a den mother, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, I have 2 Eagle Scouts. So I think those are always key. Bringing them in, they'll bring in the
Maybe you
families.
can help us in that department, because that in dance schools, you get those
Yes.
2 categories involved, and that covers a
Absolutely.
lot of ground, but you need people that have the context. I mean, we're older now, we don't have kids in the mix, and, so it's really important. The more people you connect personally, the
Yeah.
more people are gonna
For
come,
sure.
for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And then families of people. So it'll expand to, unfortunately, there are, the number of Cub Scout troops have lessened.
Right.
Girl Scout troops, everything seems to have, even I think Shirley Matta, we don't have anymore. So
But there's,
I'm
but
sure
there's.
it's still there.
Sure.
Lisa will, I'll reach out to Lisa. They'll try to do something. I think your point, Peggy, the best point that you made, and we've gone through this in the course of 40 years, the concentration of activity.
Yeah.
We've gone
That's
from,
true, yeah.
having a very small crowd back in the 90s, but concentrating them in that City Hall area.
mhm.
Big crowds where we've had multiple events in different parts of downtown that will accommodate the demand of volume that comes in. So the larger the crowd, you can add stuff, right? The smaller the crowd, you want to say, look, come to City Hall or wherever you decide, right? You're gonna have music, you're gonna have food, you're gonna have vendors. And then the other thing too, the visual of that is great, because if 100 people come and it's a concentrated area, it looks like 500 people. But if you have
Exactly.
come in like 4 blocks, it looks like 20 people, right? So, yeah, your idea's spot on.
Thank you.
So, did I get everybody?
No,
Okay, Frank, sorry.
Um,
Thank you.
I think the multi-languages idea is awesome.
Mhm.
Online registrations for
Yeah.
PSAs are very important. Again, I don't know what the library's doing, but we only had basically 5 weeks last year, so I think it's
Right.
awesome that it's so much earlier. The planning side is gonna be much better, I think that's great. Clydesdales, I think that's key.
Oh, so
something.
gorgeous, yeah.
So can I just keep going with your thoughts for 1 second, but Clydesdale, just, I mean, they are costly. We do have, they've been in the past a very generous sponsor of them, but it doesn't cover the whole cost.
Mhm.
But just wanted to let people know, and we're talking about 8,000.
Yeah.
They went to 8,
Uh-huh.
they went 6,000 last year?
We paid we had a sponsor for 6,000. We picked up the extra cost, the other additional.
It's awful.
So anyway,
Yeah.
but there,
Unbelievable.
for
But
the,
there's more time too now. this
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
too.
change it up
That's
to
a lot of
people,
money.
whatever.
so,
yeah,
go
It
ahead,
is a
Frank,
lot,
I didn't mean to
but-
stop you,
yeah,
but,
yeah.
We started out at 2,500.
yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, they're big animals.
No, he's
You know,
Okay.
Again, I don't know what the library's doing, but I had put together, a pretty good template in those 5 weeks, so they have a lot they could duplicate,
Mhm.
add to, tweak, so there was a lot going on over there. One thing that I would suggest, I don't know how long the parade's gonna be this year, last year, a little short, but the library kept going the whole day, so there were activities all day
Right.
long.
Right.
And that's something that maybe could get a little bit more sponsored. There were a lot of kids going through over there. So there were family activities over there. There was cocoa and cookies and things like that. One thing, I don't know, we weren't able to pull it off last year. I don't know if it's something that you do, if it would be helpful to you, but it might get people in the spirit of it, like a pre-parade warm-up event or activity, like the day or night before. I don't know if that's something that you can do just to get a
We
little,
used to do something
tease
on
out
Friday
there.
night, but it's tough.
yeah,
See,
we weren't able
Hold on,
to
let-
pull it off at the library, but I had wanted to, but kind of what you were saying, it didn't come together, but I think that would have been a fun or a good little tease and get people excited a little bit more, but I don't know.
I'm gonna throw out something. Why don't you do it the week before? That's what I think.
The
Thanksgiving.
challenge is this Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Well, I know,
And-
no,
and-
but I mean, throwing out something for the kids the week before, because people, need to get their kids doing something. I'm just, again, free.
So,
Yeah.
so here's what I would
Yeah.
say, that all depends upon how many volunteers we
Right.
get. Because,
Oh,
because
I-
if we don't have volunteers
Yeah,
for the parade itself,
Right.
how is this all gonna be? But
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah, put it on the back burner.
Yeah, I was just,
Yeah,
Definitely,
no.
definitely something to consider.
Something.
I agree with Mary. What I would do, I would concentrate on, this is gonna be a multi-year process.
no, yeah,
Okay.
I know, you're
I think if
100%
we
right, yeah.
focus on the parade itself,
Yeah, yeah.
once again, this is what we did this back when, we focused on the parade, and as things got better, we brought in a
Yeah, you
Friday
had a
night event,
foundation, yeah.
and then we brought in a Sunday event,
Yeah.
right?
Lynn Smith did the reading. but-
That's
Yeah.
right, and we don't have the infrastructure for, I would love to do that Friday night event, whether it's at the library or at.
Oh, no, you would never want to do it at the library. Actually, the best place you'd want to do it would be at Broughton Community Access. It would be
War
perfect.
Memorial.
Or the
It's
one.
Or the
perfect.
War Memorial,
Yeah.
but the War Memorial, the only reason I don't suggest that one is because of the parking situation.
But
But-
anyway,
Boston
something we
Community
can,
Access doesn't have that. much
It
parking.
most certainly does. It has 2 parking lots.
Okay.
we should
Yeah.
think about, maybe adding
Yeah.
I don't know, did you do the tree lighting last year?
Nope.
Nope.
No, okay, so that can be added as an addendum, but once again,
Okay, yeah.
focus
Yeah.
on the day.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big enough task.
Yeah, I
So
know,
Frank,
Frank.
have you have
Yeah,
some more?
Frank, yeah, it's a couple more
and
things,
then,
yeah.
well, we've had a few people over like at the last minute, over to City Hall from the library. I just thought they might need a little more fill over at City Hall, so we did that. But prior to that, and maybe to pick up a little bit what you were saying with the floats, where there'd be new people. We had people that said they committed, and then near the end, they pulled.
Mhm.
So I don't know if there's like a way to,
Incentivize?
yeah, or to,
We
hey,
gotta-
if you're gonna be part of it, you gotta come to at least 2 meetings or something, because I had never done it before and I trusted and,
Talking about volunteers or people that were gonna make floats?
no, we had no floats, but we had people that were
Activities.
gonna be
Yeah,
participating and you spot for them.
yeah,
And then
for an
you're-
activity,
the last
for
second, you're
example,
like
yeah.
filling in
react,
with
yeah,
something else
Yeah,
because somebody
So-
had bowed out.
Yeah.
But people have to understand it, it is kind of,
It's a
back then it was only
commitment, yeah.
5 weeks, but now you, a few months of planning.
Yeah.
So people are depending
Yeah.
on this. So I don't know if you could like say you gotta show up for 2 meetings at
something,
least or something.
Yeah,
I
that's a
don't know,
great
or an
point.
incentive
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
We always have
But-
people back it out though, that's just a,
But,
but I
yeah.
think to
Yeah.
hook them in,
yeah.
I think there might have to be a
Something. There
prerequisite.
might be
Yeah.
something. Frank, do you have any other items on your list?
No, that was about it. And a
So-
lot of people said.
Yeah,
it.
I want to
So
say
before we go-
something, yeah.
So one of the things that I saw at the Westgate Mall, with the brews and bites,
Oh,
food
yeah,
truck,
yum, yum.
it was, the Westgate Mall paid for the food truck permit for them to be there.
Oh.
That was, I thought, a pretty decent, potential.
What was the price, you
incentive.
remember?
$75.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Per truck.
no-brainer.
Per truck,
Per
right?
truck,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So anyway, so
Yeah.
that's just one of the things, and as we knew last year,
Mm.
coordinating the last minute to get a few food trucks, I mean,
Mhm.
food vendors there. So I saw Bob Butler from the Board of Health and have chatted with him this weekend. And
Yeah.
and so we can get again ahead of the schedule and get that out, downloadable form that's all, so we have to talk about that. And I know that Amanda, it was perhaps suggested that, there's the only person who can waive that fee would be the mayor's office. And, if you do it for one, then how do you do it for the others?
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Well, how many would come, you
I
think?
don't know.
I mean, so you know
I
what,
don't know.
if 6 came, it's definitely worth our
Right.
interest to pay.
Yeah, no kidding, yeah.
So I do have,
600, that'd be
so
tough.
working with the restaurants,
Mhm.
so with Maureen working on with the schools and the maybe perhaps the PACs to get word out there.
Mhm.
I'm looking for Lisa O'Donnell to be working with the downtown restaurants and work first with them to see if they can even just do some outside seating and what's required from the city in terms of
Sure.
allowing for that. And then I would look to go to Old Colony Elder Services to ask for that lot again, because I think the lot. across
Oh,
the street,
yeah, that's ideal, yeah.
would work well, but it was a big lot with a small amount of folks, and we need to be able to be ahead of that.
Mhm.
Back to the question, back to the comment about having food and making sure food's available. But
Mhm.
Amanda, I didn't get to you. And so let's have you chat a little bit about what you'd like to see in a parade and particularly in the Brockton Holiday Parade.
Sure. I'm just over here taking notes while we chat. A lot of great ideas. Really excited. And we do have some folks already registered to participate, which is great. Some community groups, some vendors and crafters who are interested in coming, but not a ton yet. And I think a lot of people are seeing, the call to action. They're seeing the posts on social media. They're getting the emails, but not getting a ton of commitment. So I think just really important for us, like as a team, to try to get people excited about it. To try to get people to buy in. We want people to come, but we want people to want to be there. I've never been to the Brockton Holiday Parade. I'm pretty new to the South Shore area. I'm from Boston. So I've been to a lot of parades. What I look for mostly at a parade is I really like the pipes and drums. I know that's very old school, but I think that's a great draw and I think people really enjoy it. And of course, for the kids to have fun. That's why we do this. That's why you do any community event, any parade. It's for the kids, it's for the families. And I work in Brockton. I work for NeighborWorks Housing Solutions. So we're very invested in Brockton, and I lived in Brockton myself previously before. It's a great community and we want people to see that. So I think just really driving that sense of community home through participation and through getting people involved will be the best way to make this a success.
Okay, very good.
I like that, Amanda.
Okay, I wanted to say 3 things. Where Amanda just brought up that some people have signed on,
Yeah.
why not capitalize on that and say, okay, so many days till the parade.
Right.
Look how many
Right.
people already on
Right.
us. Don't you want to be here too?
Right, we did
Yeah.
that last year
Yeah.
when we were able to do the business vendors,
Yeah.
and Amanda's is the magic of the,
Good,
so
yeah.
Amanda, I think what we need to be able to do, a couple of things that, and I know Ann's got 2 more things to say,
Yeah.
but on capitalizing is making sure that we're translating our flyers. And
Absolutely.
number 1, number 2 is that in addition just to social media, we need to really kind of get it out into a different venue. And that obviously is going to be from some of the contexts that were said previously, but also, I've got like 500 names on my DBA list. So
Mm.
they may get tired of me, but they're not going to forget that there's a parade coming. So,
Yeah.
so. that-
Yeah.
Just so you know, okay, and give you a little timeline, historically, 25 to 35 signed up by the last week of
Yeah,
October. By the way, October's gonna go by fast.
Yeah.
And we would have a cutoff of like maybe,
Yeah.
the second week of November, okay? And so another probably 20 to 30 would fill in on the average. That's not what we were doing 100.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives you an idea, like when you're getting close to Halloween, if you got 10 people signed up, or if you got 40 people signed up, it kind of gives you an idea historically where you're at.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if you remember Ernie Limo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was like, well, he was one that we were gonna have at the library, but sent him over to City Hall for you, to pay, just
Yeah.
take a space, but he was so thankful, so happy to be part of it. Call me afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would be.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
A
he-
right one, and I don't
Yeah.
know, I just assume he must.
I think he
have,
wanted to be in the parade,
Yeah.
and that was my challenge, because
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
couldn't,
he-
but then that's where.
He just wanted to do more and more
right,
and
yeah,
more.
yeah,
So he's one who,
yes.
you know, like, I don't know, if you, I'm sure you have the list from last year,
We
you
do,
know,
yeah.
and, I bet you money, there's probably more people that just
Yeah.
gnawing at the bit that, because it was kind of, condensed a little smaller than last year. So I bet you there's a lot.
I bet you will. So,
be.
Yeah.
so Peggy had to leave, but, oh,
Yeah.
no, you're still here.
Okay.
When chatting while we were walking,
Yeah.
the Greek festival had more people than, right, record-breaking
Yeah.
attendance.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's indicative of a couple things. First of
Yeah.
all, it's noted for its quality food, and it's something that
So
obviously
great.
bring people, but,
Yeah.
but you've been, the
That would have been a good place
the
to
advertising
advertise.
has been, right, would have been a good place to advertise.
Yes.
But number two is
Yeah.
that, people are looking to really kind of
Get
stretch
out
their
and
legs
have
and get
fun,
out,
yeah.
so. And you have two
Yeah,
more
two-
questions.
One second before I forget, one important thing when the people are involving themselves though, because we've gone years past where like we've had like this stoic kind of parade compliment where really, I mean, it's like a truck with a truck and a car with a car. I mean, other than the antique cars, everything should have some sort of a holiday theme to it.
Right,
It's really important.
right.
Because if people just coming in, then before you know it, you're just gonna have this complement of whatever it is, right? So
Yeah.
holiday theme
Mhm.
involvement.
Correct.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay. So what I wanted to say is there's a Hispanic festival this
Yep,
weekend
yep,
downtown.
yep.
And that's a perfect place for people to leave flyers. Today I was at Camp Hello Business.
Yeah.
It was mobbed
Yep.
and I left flyers there. And I still have some flyers in my car. They're all over the back seat. But again, leave them everywhere. And the other thing is there's Tower Fest. I left a flyer here.
Yep.
That's another place where you can run
Yep.
around and, get, pump people up. And again, that whole thing with the days. And I am obsessed with these, lawn signs. Just popping them in a few places is the greatest thing. I'm involved. Oh, another thing. My church is doing the Swedish cafe situation
Yep,
there.
yep.
Cafe Strudel, right, on November 12th. And so here's another place, just keep on spreading them out because people are pumped at that
Should
point.
be in
Yeah.
the supermarkets, but the other thing we did one
Yeah.
year that's kind of cool, might be too late to do it, but lawn signs with like Santa hats or whatever you
Yeah.
want to put on it, that show participation. So it's almost like, okay, we're
Yeah.
coming back and it's like, I got my Santa hat or whatever that sign is, I'm going to the parade. Then what happens is that
Yeah.
now you see it.
Yeah. And then, something, I'm sorry, the Greek festival, damn good job.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already starving as soon as you see, because it's meant, and that's why it gets pumped up. And I myself think too, I don't know how to do it, but you know how some places do the music, so you hear it outside from a building?
Yep.
I think that's, subliminal advertising, but I'm sorry, it gets pumped.
So there's a
Yeah.
lot. Everybody on this call and who's gonna be watching this video has the carte blanche, authority to share flyers, print flyers. If you need flyers, we can get them sent to you. If you think you can attend an event, I know, Bill Hogan has a downtown fest that he's got like over like 3 weeks or something, or 2 weeks. Part of it is that my life at my work is so busy that when I get a downtime, I've got a downtime.
Yeah, no
So
kidding.
this is
Pretty
where the
sweet,
foot
yeah.
soldiers and others who can be at
Sure.
places and to share the information. That's why there's the flyers that are being created. They're, don't
They're
make your
really
own,
good, too,
don't make
yeah.
your own. Amanda has been great about this, but
Thank
sharing,
you. They're
not only
great, yeah.
about volunteering, being a vendor, start the buzz.
Yeah.
What I was thinking about doing is asking to go before the city council, give them their Santa hats, have them put their Santa
Oh,
hats
yeah.
on, and to start that, but in addition to that is, just to try to get to different places, so, anyway.
Have Jeffrey follow us all. Put you up there.
Amanda, I think considering that, this is gonna fly real quick now, right? Identify committees, tasks,
Right.
and then as you get volunteers, all right, you can put them in. But if you want, we can talk about that, right? Just to give you a heads up, because there's probably 6 different categories to keep it simple.
Yeah.
All right,
We did some of those from a past meetings, but
Yeah,
let's get John's perspective and then,
and then add that, like, what you did
So-
last year, let's, you know.
so on the task, there is a Google Drive that's been created. And we are going to be sharing that for people to sign up for committees. My hope is to get Peggy to work with Amanda on that Google sheet so we can, it's just something to fill in your name and what you want to do. That part is really, so volunteers, pre-parade, volunteers, parade day.
I
Mary,
think
if we can
Mary
even,
too. Sorry,
Peggy.
go ahead.
oh, sorry, if we can even include like places that we do advertise in, like I think churches, if I had thought about it, I would have printed everything out for the food festival. I mean, we
Yeah,
had,
right,
It's all right.
but that's okay, whatever's coming up next, like, wherever you can think of, whatever.
Yeah.
You just throw these everywhere.
Mhm. But even if we had churches, like if I just give a stack to my church and just say, hey, every event, let's just do it. I run a senior group there for like 9 years. I can get them all to come as a group. It's just constantly just presenting it to certain, I think the churches are a great venue, a great area
Yeah.
to,
They are.
present them to and make sure that we have their participation.
Thanks, Peggy. Let me go to Amanda next and then Frank.
I just wanted to say that I think one of the large things that we're gonna need to see many more volunteers for is, of course, people who are there for the day of. So people who are willing to be along the parade route, people who are willing to say, I'm here, I can do whatever's needed, people who are able to help, direct traffic, to get people parked in the right places, to ensure that things are safe. That's where I think we're gonna need a lot of volume. And I know, sometimes that's maybe not the most appealing volunteer section, but it's so super important. So I think we need to just really drive home, and I'll be sure to drive home when I speak to folks too, about how truly important that job is. So we're gonna need a lot of people to get on board for that.
You're gonna need 20.
And maybe we can quantify it on the Google Docs. Maybe we can say we will need this many at this time and have people specifically sign up. That's one thing we do for the food festival, sign up for periods of time. And at least that way they can be logged in for 1 hour doing street or, whichever
So
vendor
I
checkup.
believe that that's how it's been done in the past. I know Pam, we had for this last year, there was a particular time period that people needed to volunteer for the day. I think that's in the constant contact, maybe,
Oh,
Amanda?
I'll take a peek and see if I
The
can find it.
longest category is gonna be your lot captain, who really should follow into the parade. So if you think about it, the lots are really open, they're like open at 11, right? And the
So
parade
long,
kicks
too.
off at 1, right? So that's 2 hours there, and then they step it up, and there's usually an hour, so that's a 3-hour category, which it's a lot, but I mean, we've tried to split it up where you do lot captain and then you have a new group come in to follow the parade, but it's so much easier when the lot captain just kind of
Right.
falls into the parade because they know what's going on, right? But we can talk about that as we get closer. You should have 2 per lot.
Right.
You should.
Frank
So,
had
yep,
something,
I'm
yeah.
gonna get to Frank.
Mary, do you know when parent-teacher conferences are?
They are all over. Where's
Oh.
Maureen? I'm gonna ask Maureen to kind of chime in on this one. They're held like usually, so school, this is the first month of September coming to conclusion. Some
Maureen, when do
organizations.
they do the superintendent PAC meeting? When do they do that one?
So I haven't seen or heard anything since COVID about the superintendent PAC meeting. So since Mike has taken, I don't think, the last 3 years, there haven't had any, because everything's been virtual. We did miss the window, and shame on us, and we should write this down for next year. We might have been to get our foot in the door at the schools, should have been the open houses, like ours was last week.
Yeah.
Most of them are done now. Parent conferences don't come up until, I have the calendar right in front of me. The 18th and 19th of November, so that's gonna be too late.
18th and 19th. 1 week before, well, you know what, you could do a boots on the ground last minute, like kickoff, but then we should, Maureen, I wanna have a side conversation with you too, because here's the thing. Usually they'll put backpack flyers in, right? So we could talk about that. That's all trying to get people to the parade. That's not trying to get the schools participating with floats. That's like two separate things.
Yeah, if parent-teacher conferences, you have people that are already making a commitment, so you can draw on that drive and then that they are committed, to the children. So they're committed to causes.
Yeah.
You might be within a loop.
Now, you do have the high school parent-teacher conference in October, on the 14th of October. So that might be a place, I don't know
School
if,
kids never come.
No.
I know.
Here's,
but at least if you see parents, right, you go, well, maybe I got a younger
Other
kid, so I
children.
might
Yeah.
focus in.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you had said you wanted a greater Brockton, so there's more than just, Brockton involved. I know Carver, when I was teaching in Carver, it was like a month into
Yeah.
school. So there's possibilities that there's other places that you could maybe generate, some interest, because you've already had people that.
so here's a couple things,
committed,
right? So
yeah.
here's a couple of things as well. Getting before the Brockton School, the school committee, they're usually have an open just to kind of talk about this. That's a
Yeah.
way of getting some attention. But also working with the school department and their communications office to put information through their network as
Do
well.
they have a PTO in Brockton?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there,
yeah, yeah.
each school has a PTO, but, and I want to be able to close this in about 2 minutes because we've got
Yeah.
some other things to go on to, but, there is PTOs, but again, the communications through the principals of the office, and I think that's where we really need to, they all know about it, tagging them but, so we're not going to solve it today. These are good discussions, good comments, good things for us to think about. And I think, working with
Yeah.
the folks like Maureen, who's inside the school system, who know where it can be, asking about the PACs, asking about PTOs, getting before the school committee, right? We're talking about students, families, working with the community organizations like the Little League, but the soccer leagues, BYSA. I mean, there's a whole
Yeah.
host, and there's a lot of other community groups such as the Cape Verdean Association, as well as the NAACP that have activities that involve young people. So it's
Yeah, that's
at all
good,
fronts,
yeah.
and I think the idea is getting information out there that it's happening. Number two, making sure that they know when's the final deadline for participating in the parade, and then taking it from there.
This was good.
Is there a principals meeting, Maureen? Superintendent principals meeting?
That's a good question. My guess is yes. I don't know when the next one is, but I can find that out by tomorrow morning.
And Maureen, I know when I worked for the school department, there was internal communications. What is it, like a community something or other?
So we have the Brockton, the BPS webpage where everything goes on.
I'm talking about like a blast email communication that goes out to the schools.
Yes. Yeah,
What is
that's
that
just,
called?
that would be Jess Hodges.
Okay.
Who would make that happen for you? The Connect Ed messages.
Thank you. Okay. And we can always look into the cost of doing a call to people's residents' homes and saying it's called just, it's
Oh, the
the
robocalls.
robocalls.
No, doesn't Michael do an all-call for you at the day of the parade? Yeah, he'll do
Okay.
that. He did, they do that.
Okay,
That day, though, I don't know about, like, were you talking like before, like those political calls?
yeah,
Blasted.
yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
So go ahead, let's,
I know you wanted like 2 minutes, but I just want to add to that. I don't know if you can do raffles but at these meetings, what I was thinking about, to pick up on what you were saying, you might not get high school kids, but high school kids, they have a little money if they're working. And you were talking like last year, we had cars. If you get the cars to donate like a set of wheels or something, and kids be apt to go for a raffle for a set of wheels. Car club set of wheels might be $1,200 maybe, I don't know, $2,000, under $2,000.
Mhm.
And then do a raffle on that. So now you're bringing in, a group that you think you wouldn't be able to touch.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
could, there's ways to get people. I mean,
Yep,
and loop them into it.
yep,
And and some of them have, a little spending.
yep, they do.
And I, think back when we were kids, we loved our cars.
Yep.
So it's still
Yeah.
the same thing going on.
So
Just a thought.
Amanda, you haven't run away yet, so this is great. Thank you for still sticking with us. And for Elizabeth and for newbie folks, I mean, there is a lot that goes into this.
Yes.
It's just, we typically should be starting in February, but it's hard to kind of focus in February, but we're here today. And what
We're fine.
I do want to bring
You
to,
told us this was February.
yeah, I know. Well,
God, no, don't even think.
In one of the flyers, it has the listing of our next meetings. I hope you received that. Amanda,
I
when's the
saw
next
that, yeah.
meeting?
It was October something, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's October 12th. Let me pull it up. I have it right here.
That makes sense, the day after, yeah.
That
the
was
holiday.
good to put out too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that was
getting
a very
those
good
out
idea.
there, these are being recorded, so it's gonna
Yeah.
be shared with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
I already have Frank and Pam Gurley who have agreed to be
Oh, good, that's nice.
lot captains for the
Oh, good.
parade. They're faithful,
sign.
they're faithful in
He's-
what they
he's good
do.
at that,
They're
yeah.
both good at it, and Pam's
Yeah.
retired. So again, I really would encourage, literally just send a text saying, hey, come be part of it, even if you can give a couple, or say no, or even just to hear, or if there's traditional people that have normally volunteered who can't make it, it's just as important to know who can't make it.
Yeah,
So then we can at least then
yeah,
move on.
focus on some others.
And I
yeah.
think our challenge will be, thanks for putting that in the chat, Amanda, is the next meeting is the 12th, thank you.
The 12th. Yep.
I need better glasses here. Sherry and Elizabeth, thank you. Maureen, and I know Peggy left and others have been on.
Really good
This is
meeting.
where, it is a good meeting and we're going to continue to do this and send either myself or Amanda an email if you need flyers. We can send them to you, get it printed out, drop them off, whatever we need to
Right.
do, we'll get them sent. And just go to where people are, even if it's outside of the city. That's the piece that we really want to be able to get to. So
Great.
we look forward to the next meeting. Oh, thank you for sending that, Amanda. I'm trying to eliminate my OCPC email because it's what happens, it gets all bogged down. But we do have a Gmail account, brocktondba@gmail.com. That's where to send it. It will not get lost in my other stuff, which is problematic. So if you haven't, look again, it's brocktondba@gmail.com. And we're really going to be utilizing that a lot more and putting it to good use. So thank you, everyone.
Yay,
Have
very
a great
good.
Thank
night.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll see you
excellent.
on the 12th. Tell a friend, bring a friend, okay?
Yeah, very
Thanks.
good.